Yes, good evening. I'm Ayieko Jakoyo. Today I want to share something on the art of writing. That is how you can improve your writing skills as a writer. That is as a writer in different types of writing or simply different fields. As a poet, as a short story writer, as a novel writer, or any other type of writing, you need some skills or simply how you can develop it. And that is what we're going to look at this afternoon. Beginning by defining what an art of writing is. And I simply say that an art of writing is simply an artistic or professional presentation of literary work that is usually composed and well edited by an identified writer. And you will find out that just like dancing, singing, painting, writing is also supposed to be tried, practiced, internalized, and thereafter it will be perfected and it becomes a part of the person who is interested in writing. So, going directly to the point, I want us to look at how to improve our writing art. How do we improve our writing skills so that we write something that can be read by many people, something that actually is what the audience or simply what the readers require. And the first thing to consider is that you have to brush up on the basics. Uh, what I mean in this is that writing is not a single day event. It's not a one day event whereby you wake up in the morning, you write something that is quite incredible, and everybody, when someone reads, like reading work that has been written by a seasoned writer. Those seasoned writers also began by a single point, simply by brushing upon the basics. And this means that you have to identify your target audience. That is, you also have to find out the diction or the correct grammar to use in a type of writing that you want to write. You also want to come up with your personal style or simply the style of writing and an approach, so that it is from the approach or the style that you take which will identify you as a writer. And you find out that for you to write best, you need to identify what inspires you in the writing, in the line of writing, so that you write on what inspires you, and it makes it easy for you to come up with an idea, develop that idea, and then come up with the best content that your readers require. That is, if your interest is in business, then try so much and write business articles. There are so many opportunities in business that can be written about. We have those whose interest is in poetry. You can also write something in the same line. If your interest is on religion or religious matters, you can also write something on religion. They have also those people whose interest is on children's stories and all that. So the most important is that find out where your interest lies and then write something on the same line as you incorporate those four principles that we've talked about. That is the target audience, the diction or the grammar, the style, and the approach that you want to write about. And most important thing also is that find out what will lead you to your greatness. Just like Robin Sharma said in his book, Who Will Cry When You Die? That means that those people who will cry when you die are those who have seen your greatness in your line of interest. So let us develop our lines of interest, write on the same, and perfect the skills on the same line. The second thing you need to consider as you develop your art of writing is that write like it is your job. Write like it is your job. And you find out that if you want to be better at something, you need to practice it continuously. And it's the same with writing, it's not an exception. Because writing regularly will help you to reduce the fear of the blank page. And the fear of the blank page is whereby you wake up in the morning, you open your laptop, or rather a blank page of a book, you title there, you want to share, you write something that you can share, but you find out that the idea is not coming, so that you can write and share it. So as you continue regularly, I believe the first day maybe you write one paragraph. When you go there, when you try it the second day, you're likely to write two or three or more. So continuous writing helps to reduce the fear of the blank page and enable you to develop the ideas in any topic that you choose to write about. So keep writing, even if no one is reading your work, because most of the young writers, or most of the people who have the passion in writing, but when they write an article and they feel it has not been received well by the readers, they tend to stop, or they tend to procrastinate writing a second or a third one. So just keep writing. Whether there's nobody reading it, keep writing, because one day people will read it and they'll demand or they'll require more of your work. So just keep writing and write like it is your job. Just like you wake up every morning going to your job, do the same with writing. And the third thing that you're supposed to do is that you're also supposed to read. Read like it is your job. And you find out that to be a best writer, or to be a best writer, you must first read, and read keenly. Because the art of writing develops from the art of reading. Cultivate a reading culture within yourself first, and read the work of those people who have had a better experience in the writing world. Because you find out that as you read more, you diversify your reading. As you diversify your reading material, you expand your horizon from the simple to the most challenging aspects. And in that case, you will also be able to grow your writing, that is from simple writing of a single page, or up to 2 pages, 3 pages, up to a novel. Because a novel is made by simply words making sentences, sentences making phrases, sorry, words making phrases, phrases making sentences, and then you develop to sentences making paragraphs, so on, paragraphs making chapters, and novel is made. Then as you read, also pay attention on the sentence structure, that is the word choice, the plot development, the flow of various writers' work. Those three factors will enable you also to put into consideration as you write your work. And you're saying that intensive reading serves as an eye opener to what makes a piece effective, and also to avoid some of the mistakes. Because you find that if you've not read intensively, there are some of the mistakes that you're likely to make, which can be avoided by intensive reading. Then you're also saying that you're supposed to read more in the area of your interest, or simply what you want to write about. For instance, Ayieko Jakoyo is a poet, and I read more. I've read several collection of poems, poems by Maya Angelou, poems by Robert Frost, poems by local best-known writers, the likes of Victor Ochieng. I've also read so much of Evelyn Okoth-Ngogo's poetry. I'm currently reading Oyomboya's poetry, because that is my line of interest. So also identify a line of interest and read much, or research much, because we say that the only research that a writer does is reading most of the published work. And when you read, or when you write from several points of references, or when you write from several writers' perspective, that one is called research in writing. But when you write from a single writer's perspective, we call it plagiarism. So you need to be very careful as you read and write. Also find a writing partner. And you find out that in many years, writing has been taken as a solitary activity, whereby somebody will take a laptop, sit at the corner of his table, then write something and take it to the publishers to publish. But currently you find that after Document security has been enhanced, whereby there's no fear or there's no doubt of somebody plagiarizing your work easily and taking it to the publishers. It is important that as you write, also get somebody whom you can be writing in line with, or somebody who can be reading your work before you publish it, either whether it is on a social media or whether you want to take it for publication. Before you take it to the editor whom you believe will be able to edit your work, it's also important that let your work go through at least a different person's hands, so that when you're taking it to the editor, you take something that has been pre-edited by a writing friend. And it is the same writing partner that will serve as the first reader of your of your work, and serve as a personal editor to you. And we find out that nobody is perfect in writing, and that is why even professional writers or those who have been in writing field for so many years still look for the editors. So that means that you as a writer, for you to develop your writing ability, you need to get somebody who will be your first reader and will also serve as your first editor. It is also important to attend a writer's workshop and forum, because you'll find that joining a writer's workshop is fun and also contributes immensely to the growth of a writer. You don't need to have an already published novel or a book, or simply already published material for you to join the writer's forum or the workshops. So those workshops will also help to establish, will help you to establish links between the established writers and those upcoming or developing writers. And it is important to join these forums on social media, such as WhatsApp groups, that is together with the other platforms, such as we have an application currently called Miraki, that is MIRAKEE. If you search it on Google Play Store, you'll find it, and it is a platform that has millions of writers, whereby poetry, short stories, and short skits or plays are written and published. Those such applications will help you to grow your art of writing, because you'll be able to read from the various writers' points of view, and it will help you to develop your style and also grow your writing ability. You also need to edit your work well. Be the first critic of your work. Always shape and tailor your work the way you'd like it to be before you take it to an editor. You can also contract a professional editor who is patient enough to be able to do your work with the precision that is required. Because you'll find out that readers are full of attitudes. The first impression that your work creates in a reader will determine whether they'll keep on reading your subsequent work or not. Because if a reader opens your work and on the first paragraph he or she finds there 3 or 4 spelling mistakes, you can believe me that that person may not be able to visit your site, or maybe to read your subsequent work. So ensure that you edit your work well, can do it together with your writing partner, as we said previously. That is, if you're not at the level of hiring a professional editor. Also ensure that before you share your work on a social media platform or various reader platforms, go through it very well, so as to eliminate the cases of the spelling mistakes, poor sentence construction, so that at least you're giving to the reader something that is presentable, something that can be read and somebody enjoys and develops an urge of reading much from you. You can also link up a group of writers and edit your work instead of hiring an external editor, because I believe that if the work is edited by 3 or 4 writers, I still believe that it will come out something good, something better, that can be presented to the readers. Also stick to simple words. So in writing, there are three types of words we have that are possibly used. We have the words that we know, we have the words that we should know, and we have the words that nobody knows. Stick to the words that we should know, because the main intention of a reader to read a piece of art or a piece of work is to know something. So he or she wants to know something new. So always uh, stick to the words that a reader, or stick to something that a reader would like to know. Telling readers what they know would seem obvious, and they may not get the interest of reading your piece to completion. And also, using some of the words that will require a reader to read your book, or simply to read your work alongside a dictionary, to read your book or work alongside a dictionary, may scare some of the readers, because once they encounter 4 or 5 words that they are not conversant with in the first paragraph, they tend to shy away from reading the remaining content. You also need to infuse your personality into your writing. Write as if you're writing that piece to yourself or about yourself. So letting your personality shine through is the best way to develop your writing style. Use the phrases and the slang that you normally use in most of your conversations. And also writing both formal and professional, always ensure that your setting is within your scope. Set your stories or set your art within your scope, so that you don't get short of words to use or short of phrases to use as you continue. Be yourself in your writing. That means that be original, be unique in your own way, because every writer is unique in his own way. That's why you'll find out that if you read 5 different pieces from different writers, you're likely to find 5 different styles or 5 different approaches to the way they approach issues may be different. So try to be unique in your own way, so that you're identified by your uniqueness. Just like Pepe Minambo says in the book Be Inspired Before You Expire. Uh, he's telling us that most of us are born original, but we try so much so that we die when we are photocopies. So trying to copy somebody's style, okay, you may avoid the plagiarism mistake and maybe not be apprehended with the same. But if somebody who is an avid reader has been reading various pieces finds out that your style is inclined to someone's style, they may tend to regard your work as copy pasted. So to ensure that you remain original, try to be unique in your own way of writing. Then give captivating titles to your work. Give captivating titles to your work. Ensure that your title is very interesting, because the title serves as an opening sentence. It should therefore evoke a question in the reader. And the question that arises in the reader's mind is what will make that reader read your piece to completion. So don't make your title sentence be too obvious or too abstract, because obvious topics will not evoke the reading urge in the reader, while too abstract topics may scare a reader. So topics should always be detailed, overview of the whole or simply the summary of what you want to talk about. So let the reader start traveling with you right from the topic sentence, or simply right from the introduction. And in case of poetry, make your topics short as possible, that is. And they should raise maximum anxiety in the reader. I also prepared something on the qualities of a good writing, and I have about 4 qualities of a good writing. And the first quality of a good writing is that it should anticipate the reader questions. Let your writing raise a question in the reader, and before they struggle to find the answer to their questions, they'll simply find the answers in the writing or simply in the piece. Because maybe if the question comes in the first paragraph, its answer may not be very far from the second and the third paragraph. So always ensure that your piece of writing anticipates a question in the reader. Also, good writing is grounded on data. That is, ensure that you research, because it is irrelevant to tell a story or simply to write something that you don't have facts about. So ensure that you gather all the relevant facts that will put your content in a better position and give it credibility. Ensure that the content you're writing is something that is based on something that can be established. That is, on facts that can be established. And basing your work on facts will also help you to avoid plagiarism, which is a very serious offense in the writing world. Copy pasting your work may not help you so much, because it will not take readers a long time before they realize that you copy paste from a given site or you copy pasted from a given book. So just like we said that you try to be original, also try to be original on your source of facts that you want to write about. Then a good writing is just like a mathematics. Good writing has a logic and structure, just like math has formula and methodology. So the writer must combine the various small aspects to make something that will bring a solid feeling in the reader. The writer, therefore, is the architect of his own writing. Ensure that the flow of your work is within your hands. That is, you can tailor make it the way you want, and also ensure that your work has a conclusive structure from the opening sentence, which serves as an introduction, the body that is well developed, and ensure that you have a very conclusive conclusion that has been written creatively, that will leave the readers with the urge of reading more of your subsequent work. And finally, good writing has a good editor. Just like we said that readers are full of attitudes and they want something that has been well edited, something that is not a crap. It does not have several spelling mistakes and the other grammatical errors. So ensure that you get a good editor, you do proper editing of your work. So ensure that the editor you contract must be a patient editor who will edit your work with the greatest precision. Thank you for watching, and next time I'll be dwelling much on poetry, simply on how an upcoming writer can start putting together the lines, weaving them together, and making a piece a poem. So we'll be looking at what makes a piece a poem. Thank you and have a good afternoon. Remember to like, share, subscribe to my YouTube channel for you to get the subsequent pieces that I share. Thank you.